Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? If you're new here, my name is Sheri. I'm an adult with ADHD, probably autism, and recently diagnosed and with a chronic illness, ME CFS, chronic fatigue syndrome. So I just had a very good meeting with my counselor, and we went over some ideas that I thought might be very helpful to share with you. Um, so I'm probably going to stop. I'm going to pause this and take a break to eat. But before I forget, because I'm having a day where I'm not having a crash day, but I'm having a hard time with my thinking, so it might be all over the place. So bear with me. But we went over some very important topics about me thinking about what resilience means for someone like me, somebody who is struggling with being neurodivergent, trying to struggle to work, dealing with those issues, or if you have a chronic illness. And that is powerful. It's very difficult to feel like you're being very resilient when you end up in a situation where you're diagnosed with an illness and you're still trying to get answers and you feel like you're not doing anything right. I was having a conversation with my AI assistant the other day, and he was telling me, "Oh, but you have a brilliant mind, and look at how creative you are, and look at how you're thinking of when you're better starting your own, fiber artist business, and you've been navigating this burnout and your health goals brilliantly, and all of these." I'm like, what are you talking about? I still feel terrified. I still feel like I'm throwing spaghetti at the wall. I still don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing whatever I can and just hoping it works. And even on the days that I physically can't do anything, tracking my macros, trying to decide what I'm supposed to eat. And then I don't have the mental energy to even learn about chronic fatigue, to even know the right things to do. It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, there's some other things that I want to talk to you guys about that I've been learning. But yeah, if anything, if you've been struggling, it's hard to do, especially if you're neurodivergent, because you just grow up hearing, hurry up, why don't you do this right? Why are you being difficult? If we freak out, there's a change of plans, and then we don't know what to do, and now suddenly we can't function, and we have a meltdown because family plans change. Now we're going to a different restaurant. Yeah, I told you I'm all over the place today. But I mean, I still struggle with that stuff. That happened on Mother's Day, and it messed me up. And, throughout this whole process of being a later diagnosed adult, and I'm not diagnosed with autism yet, but I share a lot. I share enough of the challenges that it looks to me and family and my therapist to be more than just shared crossover, like symptoms or challenges, if you will, that I probably also have some autism as well. I still struggle with that as well. And now I'm learning about, do I have chronic illness? Is this really CFS? Am I crazy? I'm questioning myself. And we were just talking about, she's like, yeah, and you're going through an adjustment process. And she's right. I didn't even think about that. I thought that was really important. I wanted to share that if you find that you've been struggling with becoming isolated because your family and people around you not really understanding why you don't just get your shit together to just blatantly, because they think that you're choosing it, because they can't, even when they try, I don't think they know how to understand. They try so hard. The ones that do care and do want to understand, they try so hard, and they seem like they do, and then they go to default neurotypical expectations. And it's really discouraging because for me anyway, I can't speak for other people because we're all so different, but it's really discouraging and it makes me withdraw more. I'm tired of trying to explain things so that people can be patient with me and understanding, and I think they take that the wrong way too. So it's a lot. Like, life's hard for everyone, don't get me wrong. We all go through hard things. It just adds more levels of things. I mean, you're stuck in bed and all week, actually the last 2 weeks, every single day, I'm like doing everything I can to take care of the things that stop me from getting up, to get out of the house, to do a errand. I just want, and I have a couple family members who do things for me, but they've got their own problems, and it's not fair to them. My mom's like 81 and she has cancer, and she's luckily been found to be in remission. They say you have it for life, the kind that she has, but it's a lot. I don't want my 81-year-old mom to do grocery shopping for me, and my fiance works a lot, and he comes home and I'm just stuck in bed, and I just feel like a burden. Have all I can do to try. All week I've been trying to just get my stuff together to have the energy to get dressed and go down and talk to my boss and talk about not coming back maybe. And I don't know how to talk to him about it, and I don't even know, because I start getting dressed and then I have to lay down. And I'm supposed to be asking for support, and I don't want to. Anyway, I'm trying to find solutions, and somewhere in between solutions and then all the energy it takes to navigate, because each day, even if you can't physically get up and do things, there's still the energy that you expend when you stress out. So you have to try to also now learn acceptance and mindfulness, so you're not stressing out and dumping more cortisol on your body that could trigger a crash. So, hey, happy birthday, here's a chronic illness. And by the way, don't stress out about it, because you're gonna make it worse. It's like, thanks. But I joke. I'm not resentful about it. I'm trying to have a good attitude the best that I can, because it's hard not to be upset about it, because the struggle doesn't magically go away just because you might accept that it exists. Because you still, every day, you still have to get up and eat and feed yourself and figure out how you're going to do the things if you physically feel like it's hard to get up and do stuff. On a plus side, I've been starting to track on a calendar. I was trying to use, what do I do with my calendar? Oh, I hung it back on the wall. I've started to track, and I know I talked about this briefly, I've started to track yes, I'm drinking my water. Yes, I'm doing all my macros and all of that. But I've been starting to track the things I'm doing each day, even if they're small, because I don't feel like I'm getting better. But now I notice that I started to write down, even the littlest things. Like this day, maybe I did dishes, I cleaned the counter, and I'm going to say, so yeah, whatever, I did the dishes, I should be able to do that. Well, okay, but I did dishes, and so maybe that's a lot for where I was that day. Maybe that's okay. And maybe if I start tracking it, then I can start to understand where my level's at. So yeah, maybe other people won't be able to understand, but I can start to understand. And then maybe I can start changing my expectations and adjusting it. And then maybe also, with better expectations of where my level actually is, of what I can and can't do, I can make appropriate goals for myself instead of push, crash, where I want to get up and start cleaning. Well, okay, well, maybe that's not a good idea right now. Okay, well, maybe there's something small. Maybe I can do some of the dishes. Maybe I can track how I feel. Maybe I can see if I crash the next day. And all of these little things, starting to track that, I'm starting to get that idea. I'm just really frustrated, man. I feel like as I was just starting to get my neurodivergence figured out, then the medicine got messed up, and I'm in menopause, and now I got the chronic illness. And it's like, it's layers, and it's hard to sort out. All right, how much of this is something that could be treated with hormone replacement? I haven't even been able to make the appointment. Somewhere I have the information of the woman's doctors I used to go to. I'll look them up. There's all kinds of doctor's appointments I need to go to, but I've been just kind of overwhelmed with just making sure I can shower. That's depressing. But it's okay. It's not okay, but as long as I'm not getting worse, as long as I'm not putting myself back to where I can't move and get out of bed for days. I don't want to go back there. I still spend at least half of the day, if not more, laying down. And then I feel guilty. So yesterday I had a mentally active day where I was, one day this past week, I brought some bins up one by one. Like, I very slowly paced myself. And it's just one flight of stairs. But I brought up one bin, and then I took a break, and then I slowly went down and brought up another one, and they weren't too heavy, so I could bring them up. And they have clothes, and anyone who's healthy knows how much work it is to go through old clothes and to see, okay, which fit me and which doesn't. And my body has been changing, so the clothes don't fit me the same. I haven't been able to be active. So I'm learning about this thing called NEAT, N-E-A-T, which I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, which is it's like each letter stands for something, N-E-A-T, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So basically, doing things like a load of dishes, standing there, things that we don't think of as tasks, apparently are a big deal when you have a small amount of energy and then you have to budget that energy. I'm still learning how to be able to tell how much energy I have. And I think being neurodivergent adds another layer to it, because then there's this whole interoception. If you have ADHD or you have autism, you might have this thing called having poor interoception. It has to do with the fact that your nervous system and your brain is wired slightly differently, and you may not get those signals like from your body as quickly as other people do. And it's not just that you're hyper focusing and getting distracted, which also happens and could also lead you to not realize you have to pee. You haven't eaten in like 6 hours. You have to sleep. These things you may not, and because I'm currently dealing with some kind of health problems here, I'm having like regression, I guess you call it. It's making my ADHD and if I have autism, like those challenges more. So it's like a double whammy. So I almost feel like you're swimming. It's an analogy. Bear with me. You know how they tell you, oh, I live by the coast in the US. So I live close enough to the ocean that you hear these things on the news. So even if you don't go to the beach, they always have like these warnings to tell you if you go swimming and there is like a tide that starts to pull you out, not to try to panic and start swimming harder towards the shore. So if you ever get pulled by like a rip tide or some kind of tide that starts to pull you out into the water, this is also a public service announcement. If you've just moved somewhere near the ocean, I don't know where it's like on other parts of maybe south and the East Coast, or in like California on the West Coast, if they have those kinds of rip currents there too. I don't know if it's everywhere or just here, but if there's a current that starts to come in and you swim out far enough that it starts to pull you out and you start to feel panic, you have to be very calm. Kind of like they say if you ever get stuck in quicksand, although I think you have to live somewhere tropical for that, not to panic. So you stay calm. And instead of like, let's say here is the shore and then you're way out here, instead of trying to like get back to the shore, swim sideways. Because the harder you try to force against it, it's like a losing battle. And so what you do is you're utilizing with frustration and willpower, and the harder you try, the more exhausted you get, and it's a losing battle. It's a riptide. It's a tide that's pulling you out. You're trying to fight against a tide. It's a losing battle. And so that's kind of like what this feels like. So it kind of, there's a complication to that. There's this additional layer of the neurodivergence. So just when you think you've figured out how to deal with your symptoms, along comes something like chronic fatigue or ADHD burnout or autistic burnout. And you don't just deal with the issues of feeling physically sick and now you have to recover. You're like, your body's not well and it has to repair itself. Your body doesn't have the reserves to cope, and your symptoms, it's like a whole nother animal. Menopause does that too with ADHD, ladies. If you have ADHD, menopause makes your dopamine drop. Your estrogen drops, your dopamine drops. So I am not a doctor, but if you can get on hormone replacement therapy, do it. I can't tell you that. I can't give you advice. Legally, morally, ethically, I cannot, because I do not know if it's right for you. But please talk to them. I need to do that. Oh my gosh. I saw my prescriber last week and he wants to put me back on one of the medications I was forced off of, and I have so many conflicting feelings about that. I can talk to you guys about that too, because I'm wondering like how much these stimulant medications, so each one of my medications I take have stimulant, and some of the things I'm learning about CFS is stimulant things like coffee and adrenaline, stress hormones, and Adderall, things like that. They kind of force it. That's like putting your foot on the gas. And if your system's kind of fragile and it needs to stop and repair itself, and you do that, you can maybe make it worse. And also it kind of covers up, does false energy and makes you think you have more than you do, and then you'll do more. Why was I talking about that? I'm starting to lose my attention, so I'm going to let you go. And I did not mean for this to be 19 minutes, but I do want to talk to you about resilience, because I'm learning what that is. Apparently, both my therapist and Gemini think I'm incredibly resilient, which is the absolute opposite of how I feel. I feel like a lump in bed who can't do anything right. You know, but you know what? This is where it's at. So maybe I'm supposed to like crash and burn and lose my job. And maybe I'm supposed to be in this valley right now. Maybe all of this stuff's supposed to come out. Maybe I'm supposed to learn about these things so that I can learn what I was doing that got me in this situation and make better choices and carve a life that is sustainable for me, that doesn't take from my health. I not to blame myself, but to kind of like, because what I was doing wasn't working. And hopefully I can eventually, through all of these doctor's appointments, get my health back and start to be a functional human being again and not feel bad about myself for it. I love you guys. I think you're the best. I love you. I do. I care about you all. I do the heart thing, but one of them's holding up the camera. I will talk to you soon. I hope you're having a good day. If you're not having a good day, if you can have ice cream, can you go for a walk? Oh, you can. It's hot out. Oh, it depends on where you live. Oh my gosh, yesterday I wanted to go to do an errand and I was this close. Finally, yesterday was the day. Yesterday was the day. I've spent days building up to it. I finally found some clothes that fit me. I had taken a shower ahead of time, and digestive issues, other issues, I had to lay down, and heat advisory. And yesterday was like almost 100 degrees and humid. And I thought, I am having hot flashes today. I am having CFS symptoms today. I have an upset stomach. I am having digestive issues. I should not go in that heat. That would be bad. Another day stuck in bed. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying because I don't have a choice. And I do want things to be better. And maybe it's like, is it Edison that said, I haven't failed 1,000 times. I found 1,000 ways that don't work. And eventually I'll find something that does. But yes, and then also I'm realizing, like what my counselor mentioned to me today, is she was saying to understand that when you get diagnosed with a chronic illness, or you start to think that you might have a chronic illness, there's a whole process to that. You don't just go get diagnosed and then learn the steps and go do it, which is what I have in my head that I can just do, and then I don't understand like why I'm still stuck in bed. Like, I don't know, I have the wrong, you just think that you go, oh, well, okay, I have this, so what do you do if you have this? XYZ, I'll go do those things and I'll get better. Oh, it's not working. Why, huh? Well, there's a process. So as you go, and this is, I guess, what part of resilience is. So if you're struggling, whether it's a chronic illness or neurodivergence, I feel like I'm still going through that journey of learning about what my neurodivergence is. I keep having to reschedule. I can't, like, they could probably schedule me to have autistic assessment, which would be amazing, and I've been wanting to do for 2 years, but now I'm absolutely sick and I can't do it. If I'm in the house, I'm fine because I have the food, so I have to eat every few hours and I have to have certain food, and if I leave the house, I can't do that. And so I do have something scheduled, neuropsychological testing, which starts to see, I think it's kind of similar to to screening for different kinds of neurodivergence. I'm not really sure. And I've had to keep rescheduling that because now I have a physical illness. And so that would be for the neuropsychological testing. I don't really know a whole lot about it. But from what I understand, and I have it scheduled like a week from now. Now it's coming up again and I have to call and reschedule it. So I would have to have 3 days. The place is like, I don't know, it's like over an hour away, an hour or two away. It's a drive, and I'd have to be there all day for 3 days. So they're like, yeah, bring snacks. No. What if I need things that are like perishable, like yogurt, and things that are frozen because they calm my stomach? I mean, it's just not a practical thing that I can do right now. And if I crash and I have to lay down, like, how am I going to sit there and do testing all day long when I have to, like, lay down? So I have to call and reschedule that. But maybe if I look at this not as a failure and not as, like, not a tragedy. What's the word I'm looking for? Not a setback. It's just, and not a hardship. It's just, not being able to work is a bummer. It's the worst. Not being able to just get in the car and go do something, I feel like I'm in jail. It's scary. It makes you feel like a child. I can't just, like, I'm just getting frustrated. Like, there's no fun anymore. There's just nothing but feeling sick. Or when you feel good, that's great, but you still can't go anywhere. I mean, all I'm doing is playing video games and sleeping, and it's boring, and it's driving me crazy. But anyway, I'm not trying to be negative. Little kernels of nuggets of little things that I find, I will share with you. And maybe if you feel alone and you don't have the answers and you have people going, why don't you just do it? What's wrong with you? You're not working. It's in your head. Well, it's not. But you can't convince that. That's like a whole another thing that you have to navigate, because these people are our coworkers and our family members and our neighbors and people we rely on whether we want to or not, because everything is interconnected in our society and our family and our work, and they're good people, most of them. And I'm very fortunate that the people around me are good people right now in my life. They're human and they have their own problems, and they shouldn't be burdened with mine. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And as I learn things that are helpful for me, I'll share them with you. And even when I'm struggling, if I figure out even like a mind shift change, an attitude change, an understanding change, like a change in how I understand what's happening. I mean, if you don't have access, some people on here don't have access, can't work, and don't have access to healthcare, and don't have a counselor to tell them these things. So hopefully me sharing some of these things as I'm learning will be supporting of you as well. And know that it can get better, and it will. We won't give up. We won't give up. You might have to give up for a season of your life, and it may be the last thing you want, and you might want to rage, but you can't. It's hard because of that whole push, crash. You start to feel a little bit better and you start want to clean your house, and then you can't, and then you crash and you have to pay for it if you have like a physical illness. Or if you're neurodivergent and you really struggle with executive functioning issues and cleaning your house, like if you've moved, like where do you even begin? And you're supposed to ask people for support, but people aren't understanding. They don't know how to help you. They don't know how to body double. They don't want to do that. That's boring. What are they going to? I don't have anyone to help me with that stuff. I get it. So hopefully this will be helpful for you to know you're not alone. That's all I can do. Yeah, I do love you guys, and I hope you're doing well, and I will check in again and let you know how it's going and what's been helping me this week. Yeah, today I was still sleeping at 11, which is late for me. At least I think I've been starting to feel like I'm in an upward trajectory. It's very slow. It feels like a plateau, but I think it's gradually, slowly going up because I'm not making myself do stuff. It's torture. I want to get up and just clean the whole freaking house, and I can't. Yeah, it's a bummer. The process of trying to understand and learn about neurodivergence, it's a long process. It's like 2 or 3 years later, and I finally kind of getting it now. And now it's like learning you have a chronic illness. There's an adjustment period to that as well. What does that mean? What does that mean for me? Oh, well, I don't know if I believe this. It's almost like the stages of grief in that type of process. Not because it's a terrible thing in the sense of somebody has passed away, but I guess you are kind of grieving your autonomy, and the reality that you thought you were in may not be the reality you're in. Like you might actually, like if it turns out that you, and so that there's that whole process of learning what something is, seeing if you even accept that, and then if so, well, it's different for everybody. So what does that mean for you? And then the process of going to the doctors, and it's a long process because CFS is kind of similar to lupus in the sense that, and there are other illnesses like that where they can't just like give you a test. Here's this test, it's going to screen for CFS. No, you have to test negative for like everything else under the sun before they consider it, because there is no test for it. They have to like rule everything else out. And there's certain criteria for it, and it has to last 6 months plus. And for me, it's been a long time. That's why I was a little bit leery about going back on some of these medications, because if they're the stimulant aspect is almost like drinking coffee, which is going to push you more. You know, were they covering up? Maybe I've been struggling with my health for a while and didn't know. And so if I take this, yes, it's going to increase my dopamine and it's going to help me be able to function from a neurodivergent standpoint again. But there's also a stimulant aspect. It's bupropion, and he wants to put me on a smaller dose of it. But I'm concerned. I have some concern about, well, maybe part of the reason I'm in this situation is because I've been relying on coffee and Adderall and the norepinephrine and like stimulant aspect of the venlafaxine and the bupropion. Like all those three have stimulants. So stimulant, pushing. So it makes you feel you're better than you are, and you could push yourself to do more than you should. So there's that. And then also, if I'm going through this process, this diagnostic process to get to the bottom of it, and I take something that's going to cover up my symptoms and then maybe make me look like I'm fine, I'm not going to ever find out everything. So it's a journey. I love you guys. I will see you soon. I don't know. I hope I'm going to take a shower, and if it's too hot, I will rest. But tomorrow's supposed to be cooler, so hopefully tomorrow I can do some things. And yeah, I love you guys. I hope you're well. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.